Thank you for joining me. This stream will start in approximately 1 minute and 44 seconds. We will be starting in approximately 1 minute. Hi, and thank you for joining me on this Wednesday evening, I guess. My name is Wayne from Ascend Custom Designs. I am a small business owner and a part of the xTool Squad program. What is the xTool Squad, you might ask? The xTool Squad is a global network of experienced makers, educators, and small business owners such as myself. We offer one-on-one demos of the products that we've purchased with our own money, I might add. And the demos are a mix of online and in person. It really depends on the host. We also offer material testing and skill training. Material testing is essentially you send us your materials. We will figure out the best settings to get you the best results. And then from that, you can determine if the machine is fit for its purpose. So I get asked all the time about material testing. I demo it. I get asked why I offer it as a service, if it's that easy. And again, the simple answer is people want to try before they buy. If you're working with goods, high value goods, it's just easier to have someone test it, see if it's feasible. If it is, then it converts to a sale. So it's for that reason why we offer material testing, or it might be that you have the machine and you're struggling. And then we also offer skill training, and skill training is essentially a one-on-one masterclass with an xTool Squad host. We will help you with whatever you need help with. So if it's software-wise, you need training with the software, or maybe you need some help knowing how to maintain the equipment. The equipment that xTool offers is not a maintenance-free option, so you do have to do some maintenance in terms of cleaning. Generally speaking, it's vacuuming out and cleaning the lens and the fans. So if you need us to hold your hand, we're happy to do so. It might even be a more advanced project that you're looking to get started with on the laser, and we'll help you with that. So that's what this skill training is. Right now, xTool's running a promotion, and the promotion is they offer one-on-one demos of any of their products absolutely free. The host gets paid by xTool regardless if you buy or not. It's obviously in the host's best interest that you purchase the machine because they do get a small commission. So if you was to buy a machine from a demo that I've demoed yet, I will get a small commission. Every little helps. But in terms of the actual demo, the host gets paid by xTool regardless if you buy or not. It's a fixed rate. It's an excellent way of getting some hands-on experience with a machine if you want to purchase one. I would always advise in-person demo where possible. You can physically touch the machine. I have a computer set up specifically for in-person demos where you can have a little play around, be a bit like when you're at school. So I'll have a little demo of that here if you're interested. So I'm in Birmingham. A lot of people have been asking me about in-person demos and what's the benefit, and the biggest benefit is physically seeing the machine. So there's no video magic tricks going on. You can see what's happening in real time, and it just gives you good exposure to something new. With that being said, if you want to find out more information, visit the website below. So that's support.xtool.com/xtool-squad. That'll take you to the xTool squad profile page where you can find hosts, and I'll show you that briefly on the website. Alternatively, you can scan the QR code above my head. So just trying to get my words out here. You can scan the QR code above my head, and that will take you to my profile on the xTool squad page. So I do have a rough idea of what we'll go over today. It's pretty much the same process I always go through. So for those that are just joining me, this is good information. For those that have watched me previously, I do apologize. I'll go over some technical information on the M2. So whenever I do a demo, I like to give you the tech specs of the laser, a physical look around, and then just quickly go over some laser safety, and then we'll jump straight into the xTool Studio software. I'll demo some of the features specific to the M2. So you got the auto material detection. AI Make isn't specific to this model. It's specific to the software. So the software works with all the lasers. That's good information to know. And then some of the materials we'll work on, called coasters, custom cards, keychains. I'm thinking of some wood. We'll test out the auto mode. So I've not demoed this yet. I've used it myself. It's pretty amazing, especially if this is your first laser. But we'll start off with simple wooden heart, and then we'll crack on with a project. And again, if anyone has any questions, please do let me know. Drop them in the comments. Alternatively, you can find my contact information below. So wayne@ascendcd.com. You can reach me on WhatsApp on +44 7846 110270. I'm also on iMessage, I have an iPhone. So please feel free to reach out. You can always call me the good old-fashioned way. So if we jump straight into the actual tech specs. So in terms of the M2, it comes in a 10 watt, 20 watt diode laser module. It also has a 3 watt infrared module that is out, so it's not coming soon, in stock. It also has the full ink module, which is the CMYK. So that's cyan, magenta, yellow, and black is the K. And this is a fully enclosed class 1 laser. And what that means is this laser will not operate with the lid open. So that's good to know. It also has dual cameras. So it has a 5 megapixel camera that is located on the lid, on the inside of the lid. And then it has a 2 megapixel close-up camera that is located next to where the modules get installed. And I'll show you this when we do a physical walkthrough. And the physical walkthrough, I've pre-recorded it today, so I'll show it you. It's something I recorded today. So I'll show you that. It just saves time. And this machine comes pre-assembled and has a max operating speed of 600 millimeters a second. So it's a gantry-based laser, and by that I mean it moves along left and right, up and down. And then in terms of the work area, 42.6 centimeters by 32 centimeters, and we'll go over the tech specs on the website now. And the reason for that is the work area does change depending on what module you have in there. If we scroll down to the bottom, there we go. Just here, so working area. So the working area is identical for the 10 watt and 20 watt modules. You do lose a bit of space with the 3 watt infrared, and that's simply because it's a bigger unit or a bigger module. And then the inkjet module, you do lose even more space. So it does limit your work area depending on what module you're using. and that is reflected in the software, which I'll show you. And then in terms of what the machine looks like, this is what it looks like, and I'll show you the physical machine. You can get the RA3 Lite. That is a accessory that allows you to engrave rectangular cylindrical objects up to 100 millimeters. It doesn't require a riser base. It changes the orientation of the laser. So we scroll down just a little bit. You can see just here, this is the laser here, how it would typically operate. So it beams down. With the RA3 Lite installed, you can change the orientation of the laser, and that is how you can engrave cylindrical objects without the riser base. So xTool have been very creative in the way that they use the space that's available to them, keeping the price down and keeping the actual footprint of the machine down as well. And then this is all some good information that you can find on there. Highly advised that if you're considering buying, check it out. Inkjet module. There's a lot of things that you can do with the machine, and this is what it comes with. So if you're looking at the standalone, this is what you can expect. I have the deluxe version, and this is what it all comes with. So it's all pretty straightforward stuff. And if I jump over, and what we'll do is we'll have a physical look around. So I will play you a video now. If anyone has any questions, please drop them in the comments. I am checking the comments regularly. So I'll play that now. This is a physical look of the xTool M2. On the front, you have an LED indicator along with a button. When you send the job, this indicator will change, and you simply press this button to start it. In terms of turning it on and off, there is a power button on the back, and this is the actual hose pipe that comes with the machine. So it's approximately 1.2 meters. I have this venting outside. You can either vent it to the air purifier or the AP2. If you do buy the air purifier, you will need the adapter. So when you select the air purifier, do select the version for the M2. It's the same machine. It just comes with an adapter, and the adapter looks something similar to this, and it simply allows you to connect the 8 centimeter hose to the 7 centimeter back of the air purifier. In terms of the camera that we talked about, on the lid, if you follow this white line up, this is the 5 megapixel camera. If I close this lid as I'm talking, you might hear it beep. If I do it again, what it's doing is it's taking a picture of the bed every time you close the lid. If anyone knows about cameras in machines, this is very handy. You have to press the button manually usually to update the picture. This is a nice automatic way of taking an update of the bed. The 2 megapixel camera is located next to where the modules lie. So this here is where the 2 megapixel close-up camera comes into play. So if I leave this lid open, right now I have the print module installed. If I show you just how easy that is to change, you simply hold it and pull on this USB-C cable that is in the side, and it just pulls off. On the back, you have these 2 metal prongs. They fit nicely in here, and the magnets pull it directly into place. So if I switch between that and the 10-watt laser diode module, and again you have this USB-C connectivity on the back, simply one hand in, and I can just hold it and snap it in. It's literally that simple. So switching between the modules is very effortless. It does come with 4 of these magnets. So instead of the honeycomb bed, you just have this bed here. That's to reduce the footprint of the machine as well as the cost. So you can use these little devices here, this little magnet to switch and turn and hold material. You can raise material off the bed. Actually quite genius. I will show you these close up on the desk camera. What I'll do now is I will switch over to the iPhone, and I'll show you a close-up view of the actual bed. as well as the camera that's located in it. This is a close-up using the iPhone. So again, this is what I talked about, the magnets that come with it. So again, I'll show you this under the desk camera so you can have a better look. It's very good for gripping material. You can twist and turn it, snap it into place. One of the things I will note is in the corner here, when you fit this, this is specifically for the print module, and that is because the print module has a cover on the side or the bottom. I don't know how well you can see that, but the laser will lock into that and pull it up. So it pulls it off. This cover here on the bottom stops the ink from drying up. This is a close-up of the connectivity, and I'll just do this with one hand. So again, the switch modules, you simply take out the USB-C cable. And again, I'm doing this with one hand, and you just pull it off. In terms of what the back looks like, you've got them two metal prongs, and the two metal prongs fit nicely into the back there. And I don't know if you can hear it, it just literally snaps into place. And again, I'm doing this one-handed. You just put this USB-C cable into here. There you go. Much easier with two hands. So that's on now. And if I just show you underneath, don't know how well you'll be able to see it. I can't focus it, unfortunately, but that's where the 2 megapixel close-up camera is. So if I just hover over it, you can see just here, there's the camera sign. And on the actual lid is that 5 megapixel camera. If you should hopefully hear the beep. There we go, and it's done. So it took a picture. This is the magnets that come with xTool M2. So you get 4 of these. This is the underside. That is what it looks like from the side. And that is what it looks like when you pull it out. So these simply pull out, and you can twist and snap them. And again, if I show you from this angle, they pull out and twist and snap, and they just pull down. So these are very good for gripping material. I've gripped wood and I'm able to raise it off the bed. So when you're cutting, you want it raised up slightly so air can get underneath it, so you get a smooth finish, a smooth cut with minimal charring. This is actually a novel way of being able to do that without using a honeycomb. If anyone has any questions about that, please do let me know. I hope that was helpful. So that is the physical look around. So I'll show you the machine shortly. I just wanted to point out that the machine will have an M2 adapter kit for the RA3. So if you've purchased the RA3, you'll be able to use the RA3 with it. And then I also wanted to let you know that the xTool M2 has air assist. So the air assist is actually built in to the device. So again, it keeps the profile of the device down. It's all in one, it's all integrated. So it's a pretty cool piece of kit. I just switch over to my pan tilt zoom camera and I'll show you the physical machine. So this is what I just showed you on the video. I have this being vented outside. So if I just move this up just a little bit, you can see the reason I pre-recorded it is to get some reflection here during the demos. So I have been asked about that. So what we're doing now is we will just cover some laser safety training, and I'll talk briefly about the laser dot size and why that's important. So never leave the machine unattended, put it on a flat, stable surface, don't modify the machine. And then in terms of ventilation, you do want to vent it somehow. So you might vent it into an air purifier or the AP2. So those are the options if you want to vent it inside and stay safe. Alternatively, you can vent it outside. And then there's still some materials that you should never engrave, PVC or vinyl. So vinyl does contain PVC typically. It creates a very bad gas. Just don't do it. It's bad for you. It's bad for your laser. It will make you ill and it will damage your machine. So don't do it. I've had to steer a few people away from the M2 because they were trying to upgrade from a vinyl cutter. So if you're looking specifically to cut or to do something with vinyl that does contain PVC, you cannot laser it. It's just not possible. There is vinyl that you can get that is made from a different material. But if you're upgrading from a vinyl cutter, more often than not, the vinyl that is out is PVC based. So again, if in doubt, don't do it. I don't cut vinyl or try and laser vinyl at all. It's just not right for me. Use a vinyl cutter. Go with a different type of machine like the M1 Ultra has an actual blade that can physically cut the vinyl. So those are your options in that regard. And then safety glasses. This is null and void with this machine in particular because it's a class 1 laser. Some machines you can operate with the lid open, in which case you'll need a pair of safety glasses. This machine you cannot operate with the lid open, so you don't have to worry about it. So you don't need safety glasses with the M2. Now, the laser dot size. So what I'll do is I'll jump over to the xTool website and I'll just scroll down to the bottom, specifications. And you can see here, it says the laser spot size. So every laser will have a spot size. They vary in size depending on the type of laser. So for example, CO2 lasers are typically have larger dot sizes. Then it's diode, then you're looking at infrared, and then finally UV with the tiniest dot size or spot size. So the 10 watt is 0.04 millimeters by 0.06 millimeters, so it's very tiny. But the 20 watt is larger than that. So the 20 watt is 0.06 millimeters by 0.08 millimeters. So the reason I mention it, I always ask people what they're going to do with the laser. If it's predominantly cutting, then obviously the 20 watt is the way to go. That has more cutting power. However, if you're doing a lot of engraving, especially detailed engraving, you might benefit from the 10 watt. And that is because you can cram more detail. It has a tinier spot size, and you can get some of the details that the 20 watt would miss. And for this reason, that's why the infrared laser, which has an even tinier dot size, usually gives a better picture, has more resolution, I guess, is the word. But if I jump over to this, so this is a graphic I created. This isn't the actual dot size. This is just a representation. I've increased it approximately 300 times, but they're all in proportion to each other. So as you can see, the M2 10 watt, it's a more oval shape. So diode lasers tend to be more rectangular or oval shape. And then the 20 watt is larger. And then I have included the F2 and the F2 Ultra UV on there as some references to reference against. So you can see the F2 Ultra with the UV laser. Really, really tiny. And that's the reason why I'm able to get a lot of high quality engraves, a lot of detailed engraves with the UV laser that you wouldn't necessarily be able to get even with the infrared. So that is something to bear in mind. With that being said, we'll jump over to xTool Creative Studio. So if I just jump here for the moment and just mention something. So xTool have sent me a QR code. If you scan it, you can be in the running to win a £100 gift card. So if you scan the QR code, that will take you to a place where you can enter your name and email address, and you'll be contacted if you won. So they're going to draw 2 winners, and it's only running for this week. So you should hear back next week if you're a winner. So do bear that in mind. So please scan that QR code now if you're interested. With that being said, we'll jump straight into the xTool Creative Studio software. So this is the software. It's absolutely free to download. And it has a few different sections. So they recently rebranded to xTool Studio. It used to be called xTool Creative Space. Now it's xTool Studio. They have the xTool Academy. I highly recommend you check this out. This is official resources from xTool. So they're official videos or endorsed videos. So if you want help getting started, you can crack on with these very school style courses. I always advise going to general. So down here you got general, and if I just untick that, they got the laser safety training. Highly recommend that. There's also Paul's videos, so if you're looking to scale your business, check these videos out. You can also follow Paul on his various social media channels. He's a very good guy, very knowledgeable. Do check it out. Highly recommend it. So that's the xTool Academy. Then you do have this custom things. So this custom things is a way that you're able to sell things online and have the order directly imported into xTool Studio. It's actually genius, and it's what's been missing for a long time. So if you have an Etsy shop, I spoke to someone recently, they've got an Etsy shop. They are continually copying and pasting it, things wrong slightly. If you set up a custom things, save yourself the hassle, import all that in. Hi there. Yeah, what sort of issues are you having? Just let me know. But yeah, you can create products. So you got a product catalog. You can import some products directly from xTool's materials. So if you're buying xTool's materials, you can import the settings and some of the photos directly in there. You set the settings. I've set up just a few things in here. But yeah, it's something that you should definitely check out. And then finally, you got the Atom, or Atom, should I say. So Atom is xTool's base where you can share and download projects. So if you're looking for projects to get going straight off the bat, this is the place to check out, get some inspiration. I done something yesterday. So yesterday we found this project off Atom. It was done on the F2. We did it on the M2. We just did a quick material test to make sure it can cut. And then I was able to engrave and cut this. It took 11 minutes. And that is the nature of a gantry-based laser. But you're able to cut and work on a much larger area with a gantry-based laser. So what we'll do now is we'll go over to xTool Creative Studio. I'll show you the laser as well. And we'll start our first project. So what I really want to test out, or show you, should I say, is the automatic mode. So up here, you got enable auto mode. Absolutely fantastic. I'll show you the manual way of doing things, and you'll see the difference. So what we'll do is I'm just going to put in a dog tag, or not a dog tag, a keychain. So I'll move over now and I'll put in a keychain. So one of the first features that I want to show you is when I open this lid, shut it, it'll take a picture. I mentioned it in my video that I showed you. You'll see that appear directly on the screen. So it's actually genius. I don't know why it's not been implemented in the other machines that have cameras, but being able to just close that enclosure and have this picture is absolutely fantastic. So what we can do is we can measure it. So we can do an aims measure. I click on it goes over to it. So you can see in the bottom corner, in the bottom left, that's a live video feed from an external camera. So we've taken the measurement. So this is what will move the laser the correct distance from the material. So no longer will you have to manually adjust the laser. If you've ever experienced a laser that doesn't have an auto measure, you would have to knock out a guard and manually raise or lower the laser. Gone are those days. The next thing I want to show you is that it's already took a picture. So this picture up here, that's the panoramic picture. That's the camera that is located on the lid. This is how we use the close-up camera. So you have two versions of this. So you just do that if you're looking for a single picture. So you can see the difference. Now, if you're looking to cover a wide area, you can click that and select the area. Honestly, it's that simple. So you can see it's moving around the bed and it's captured it. So again, we can capture a single image just by doing that. So it's very, very straightforward. In terms of material detection, I can click on it. I know what this is. So we can go to wood. I can scroll down and have a look. You know, there's a lot of options to go through. So wooden keychain. I know this is a wooden keychain. If I click apply, automatically applied the settings, so the correct settings. And by that I mean, if I was to draw out a square, let's zoom in. Oh, maybe it hasn't. So let's apply that again. And it's calling me a liar because it's not applied the settings. Okay, we'll do the auto, the AI generation in terms of material settings. So this is going to identify the material and figure out what the settings are. So I'm not even going to enter anything in there. I'm just going to let it analyze and work out what it is. So it's identifying what type of material it is. I mean, realistically, you should know what material is, and you can enter in some additional information to help it be more accurate. And then it will come up with what it is. And again, this is probably going to call me a liar. Maybe not. So it said a natural beach hardwood keychain. And these are the settings for score, for engrave, no settings for a cut. These are the settings for a bitmap engrave. And it's generally in the ballpark. So if I hit apply, you can see now that the settings are automatically applied here. So if I want to do a score, it's dropped it down. So what I'll do now is I am going to do the auto mode and just show you what that means. So first things first is delete that off there. I'm just going to close out of it. So I'm going to the main screen. What I'm going to do is take the material out that I put in there. So we put in the keychain. I'm just going to move that to the side. And what we'll do is we'll start a new project. So there's two ways to start a new project. The little plus button up here for the new project. Very, very intuitive software. It's automatically taken a picture of the bed. So if I hide my face again, what I will do is I'll show you what I'm going to put under there. So I'll put a simple bamboo keychain under there. So what I'll do now is go over settings and select enable auto mode. So automation is ready, close the lid again or click start. So automation mode or auto mode is enabled. I'm not going to do anything. So I'm not doing anything. My hands are here. That's it. So it's literally that simple. Typically, it does auto-generate the material too. It automatically identifies it. At least in all the testing I've done, it's very typical that it doesn't do it when I'm demoing it. And then this will get the settings for a bamboo material, I'm guessing. We'll see. Identifying the material category and natural bamboo tag. Perfect. So it recommends for a score 65% power, 55% for an engrave, but you can see it's slower for a score. So we'll apply and save. Nice and easy. So now that we've done that, I'll just double check the close-up photo. There we go. And what we can do now is we can work on this material. So we can go over to projects and find a project. That's what we did yesterday. So we found something that we wanted to engrave, something that we liked. I typed in Father's Day. And I found that. Today, what we'll do is we'll generate something completely new. But before we do that, I just want to show you the templates. So there are templates that are available. I'm not sure if there's Father's Day templates, but you can make your own. So there is a Father's Day template, and you click on it, and you're able to just change whatever you want. Oh, it's literally that simple. So it's worth checking out. What we'll do is we'll use the AI feature now. So if I just show you the screen only, what I'm going to do is go over here. You got this AI make. xTool are constantly updating the software, so they're adding new features. So if I was to show you some of them, for example, 3D. So if you're looking to engrave 3D inside of glass, I have the F2 Ultra UV, which can engrave on the glass. If you're looking to create a 2D photo to a 3D photo, you have the ability to do it through the software. This is one of the things that I like. xTool have made it very user-friendly, and it all integrates and plays nice with each other. And by that I mean you can generate an image in another platform, say ChatGPT or Gemini or Ideogram. But how easy is it to engrave that image? You still typically have to do something to it to make it laser engrave ready. xTool has just saved you all the hassle. I could go over to engraving, and then I could say, do you know what? I want a line drawing. So when it comes to wood, different materials will engrave differently. So for example, if I'm engraving on certain types of plastic with the infrared laser, certain images will work absolutely fine for that. Certain types of images, should I say. If I try and take that same image and engrave on wood, it looks bad, it looks rubbish. So you learn very quickly what types of what you need to do depending on what material you're working on. Generally speaking, line drawings are pretty safe. They work on a wide range of materials and they look great, especially on wood. So I'm going to go line drawing. And then we have a couple of options. So we can generate something from scratch. And by that, I mean I can type in something. I can say, I want a golden retriever. Or we can upload an image. So if I was to go and grab an image of my dog, just drag this on the screen just so you can see what I'm going to do. So this is a photo of my dog. I'm just going to grab that same image and I've dropped that image into the software. So, and then in terms of the style, I want a fine line art drawing. So that's all I've had to do in terms of prompting. So I don't need to be a prompt master. I can enter in something if I want something very specific. And there's a couple of options. xTool have allowed you to do a quality mode now that takes pretty much double the credits, or just slightly over double. So 6 credits per image generation. So this is a paid for feature, and in terms of cost, it's actually relatively cheap. So 500 credits for $5, 1,000 credits for $10, 2,000 credits for $20, and you get a little bonus also with it. So it works out 6 cents a generation, about 4p in British terms. For me, that 4p is worth the time that I've saved. So instead of having to go over to Photoshop or another app and apply filters to get a desired result and clean it up, it's just easier to do it all through one piece of software. The time is money, and sometimes you got to spend money to save money. So this is a free feature. This is a paid for feature, not a free feature. You do get some credits and you do get some free uses. So every month, at the beginning of the month, so at the beginning of the calendar month, you get free usage. So that's 3. So you get to use it 3 times for free. Quite a mouthful to say. But yeah, so if I just hit generate, so I've hit the button there, and in the corner here, you can see that it's working away. So it's thinking. And it's identified this photo. This photo already has a strong studio pose. And the tilted head will read really well in clean engraving lines. I'm turning it into minimal pure line art with consistent black outlines and no fill or shading. So again, this is AI. The benefit is it saves me time, but one of the drawbacks can be is that it might need some tweaking in the sense of I might not like that one, and I can generate the same image again and same prompt and get a different result. But generally speaking, these prompts, the way that it's all set up, I am getting uniform results in terms of what I'm expecting to get, I get. So more often than not, this works for me, and this saves so much time. When someone asks me to turn an image into a line drawing, ready to go. So you can see there that it took out the background and made my dog into a line drawing. So a couple of things that I want to note here. If you do not like what it's generated, so for example, I generated a 3D model from a photo. So, and it was a couple. And what happened is the couple ended up having 6 legs. So somehow there's 2 sets of feet extra, or a set of feet extra. So what you can do, as long as you don't add it, as long as you've not clicked this button to import it into the canvas, you can scroll up to the top. You got these ... and you can say dislike. When you do that, you can say what's wrong with it. So the first thing is you give feedback to help correct the model. So tell it what's wrong, and xTool will look at this and improve the model. And you will get some credits back as a refund. And then what will happen is this image here will disappear out of your account. So because it's not usable, you don't need it, it will disappear, you'll get a credit. So I quite like this. I'm not going to do it because I like how it looks. So if I click on this button, it's imported it, and you might be saying, well, it's got a white background. You know, how will that engrave? You can see here how they look. So if I Right click that, arrange, send to back. There we go. So this can go over it. You can see, got the tongue. And I don't expect it to be exactly the same. It's just the nature of art that it's going to be slightly different. But I really like the look of these line drawings. I like the way they engrave. It looks fantastic. So what I'll do now is I won't use any of these. So it does come up with some additional prompts that you might want to try. So it rather than you just ask it questions and it give you answers or give you results, it also asks you questions back. If you ask it to do something and it's not sure, it will ask you before it generates a result. So what I'll do here, I will edit this. But before I do that, I'm going to do a couple things. And I'm going to cut out. So cut out is essentially getting rid of the background. So you've got an AI version of the cutout, and it will show you how it cuts out before it charges you. So it costs 6 credits. So you can see here, 6 credits. Or you can do it the manual way. So if I go over to manual cutout, when I click on this, it's done it, and that's cost me no credits. So you've got both options. With complex images, so line drawings not so much, but with complex images, AI cut is a lot easier to get things done than doing the manual cutout. So you'll see the benefits of both. So you have the option of both. The laser won't engrave the white elements, but I just like to get rid of them. So I like to see what's behind the image. And if I just crop out this extra white space now, and it's just as simple as moving things around. So you can just see how easy I'm able to navigate the software. And you can download this software today and have a tinker with it. So you can have a play. I'm happy with that. It's got a little border on it. And there we go. So what I might want to do now is engrave this. So this might be too small to engrave. Get the details on this, but we'll give it a go. What I can do is I can just align this a little bit. There we go. And what I'll do is I'll adjust these settings slightly. So it's come up with some auto settings, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the power. I'm actually going to say 80% power. I'm happy with the 215 speed. And then you've got this bitmap mode because this is an image. You do have different ways to engrave, and that depending on what you do, depends on which one you want. There are some descriptions next to it. So if you just hover over it, you can see the descriptions. I won't cover these today, but if you do have questions about this, so engraving images specifically, please do reach out and I can explain the differences more in depth. On the right here, you have everything that's on the screen. So all that's in work area is just this. And what I'll do is I'll hit process. So it's going to take 1 minute 46 seconds to engrave. I just enable that and hit start. I'll show you full screen. So I don't know how well you can see it, but this has gone green. I hit this button here to start it. And now the laser will move. So you can see there, and if I just show you the screen only, you also do have this enable monitoring mode. So that is an actual live feed from inside the M2. So I'll also enable so you can see. Now I have no idea how this is going to turn out, but I'm pretty confident in the settings. But the looks of it is not even, it needs to go slower, is my reckoning. So it's just doing a very low level surface engrave. So if I let this complete, I will show you what you do in this scenario. So when you're engraving wood and you've engraved it and it has engraved, but it's not give you the desired result, do not fret. As long as I do not move the material out of the bed, I can engrave it again. I can change the settings and run it slightly different. I can run it twice. So we're 15 seconds left. So I'm just going to have a quick look, and I'm pretty sure yeah, so it has engraved it, but it's very, very light. You can see here it's auto-identified it. So I'm gonna keep it in there. What I'll do is, if I just close out of this, I'll show you something. If I go down to the layers, I'm just gonna make this invisible. You can see it has engraved, but I am not happy with how it's engraved. So it's not something I would sell. So in that case, what I can do is select it again, and it might be that it's too small. I've reduced the size and it's not getting the detail, and that's because of the dot size. It might be too tiny to pick up the good details. But what we'll do is we will drop that down to 100 speed, and I'll increase that to 95% power. And I'll go with 240 lines per centimeter. And we'll keep it on Jarvis. Jarvis is the usual, it's my usual go-to, Jarvis or Stucky and Grayscale. Those are really the only ones that I use. Jarvis for the most part is the way to go. Now I'm going to hit process again, and the time will change. So now this is going to take 4 minutes and 8 seconds. So if I hit start, I'm going to press the button again, and it's going to start. So if I show you just the screen again, I'm going to hit this enable monitoring, and you can see a real-time feed. My machine is connected over Wi-Fi. So we'll see how that's engraving. That is actually much better. So what I might do is I'm going to switch to the iPhone. So I go to iPhone, and I'm just going to change this to my actual iPhone. So that should come up. So this is my actual iPhone. So I'm moving this over, and I don't know how well you can see it. I don't know how well you can see that. That is my iPhone. If I switch back over, And what I'll try and do is if I go to my pan tilt zoom camera, I might be able to catch it if we zoom in all the way. Let me zoom in a little bit further. Apologies about the glare. You can see hi Vicky, the software that you need to download is this software here. So if I go up to the top, if I hover over software, xTool Creative Studio, so if I click on that, you'll be taken to this page here. So what I'll do is I'll click on that, I'll copy, and I'll paste that in the comments for you. So if you click download, I don't know what type of computer you have. This works for Apple Silicon. It works for Intel-based Macs as well as Windows. So I have this installed on a Windows PC, so Windows 10, Windows 11, several Windows 11 PCs and laptops. So you can install it on multiple computers. So I hope that helps. And you can download this software before the machine arrives. In fact, I recommend you download it before it arrives, and you can try it out. So we switch back over. You can minimize this so you're not stuck just watching the screen. You can switch between the different lasers. So I have multiple lasers here in the office. So if I wanted to use the F2, I can go ahead. So right now it's telling me it's done. So let's have a look. So if I switch over to both this and this, I just zoom out. You're welcome, Vicky. So yes, this took a little while, but this is a gantry-based laser. So I have this here. If I just switch to the desk camera, so I don't know how well this is going to show. Let me just see if I can zoom in. There we go. So that is the image that we just generated. And that is how it engraved. You can see a lot of the detail are there, or is there even. And that is literally how simple it is. So if you're looking to do something, it's really simple to get going. If you're looking to get a project going and this is your first laser, it really is straightforward. This is a very good entry-level laser. It has an entry-level price point. It doesn't have some of the advanced features or some of the additional features as some of the top range models. So for example, it doesn't have a conveyor belt. So a pass-through conveyor belt like the P2S and the P3. Those are completely different lasers altogether. But this is a very good entry-level laser that will get you going, that will get you the knowledge. And the benefit of xTool Creative, or xTool Studio, should I say, is once you gain the knowledge with one laser, you can easily upgrade to another laser, and it's minimal differences. The way that the software looks is identical. You just might have some features on one that you don't have on another. And if I was to show you my other machines, so for example, if I was to just turn on now my F2, So turn that on, turn on the air purifier. I have this attached to the air purifier, which is compatible with the M2. You just need that little adapter. So I've turned on the F2. So if I just turn off this automated or auto mode, so what I've just done here is in the actual software, I've turned off auto mode. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the laser. So one of the things that the M2 has is when I go over to this material, I've got AI material recognition and also have this enable auto mode. So if I just switch to the F2, it's taken a picture. So if I zoom over to F2 base, over there in the office. Okay, so you can see here there's some features that are missing already or are not available on the F2. But generally speaking, all the software all down the sides is all the same. The settings will be slightly different. But if you was to choose a bamboo tag while on the F2, it will adjust the settings to that. So if I was to find a bamboo tag on here, so not the AI generated, but this will be the settings for the F2. And if I do the same thing and select the settings from the list for an S1, a P3, the settings specifically for that. And it gets even more specific. I have the 10 watt installed. If I have the 20 watt installed, it intelligently knows that it's the 20 watt and it will pull the settings accordingly. So it's actually really good. So if I select bamboo from that list, you can see the bed size is vastly different. So what I'll do is I'll just create a square here and say engrave xTool F2 15 watt. It's honestly, so I'm going to change that back to the M2. I'll change the color here red so you can see it, and this color is just for your reference only. And again, I'll select bamboo, apply. It's going to call me a liar. Let me change that back. Well, saying that bamboo might not be available here on, yeah. So when you get the settings of 1 and 80, that means the settings aren't there yet. But let's just say we're going to go with some plywood. Let's just say this is the plywood. You can see the reference sheet here, xTool M2 10 watt. If I had the 20 watt installed, it would pull the 20 watt. My personal advice when working with your own material, always do a material test, and I'll probably end it on that note and just show you briefly what a material test is, you know, what it looks like. So if I get rid of the camera, so if you go down the bottom or the left hand side even, go to applications, material test array. So I have that square that I dragged out when I clicked it, and it's made a test grid. So it knew that I had the setting set to engrave. So it's now naturally engraved all of them, max speed, minimum speed, max power. Generally speaking, I'll start off on the low end if it's a flammable material. So if I'm working on cardstock or wood, I wouldn't naturally have it go up to 100% power. So when you do material tests, this is where the highest chance of creating a flame would be, where you accidentally use a high power and a slow speed, which is just a recipe for a fire. Don't panic. So I always err on the side of caution. So I'll go 80% power as the max, and the minimum will go with, say, 30% power. And you can see it's updated. And I can go, do you know what? I want to do more columns. I want to do more rows. Spacing in between it. You can decrease that or increase it. Or that's the speed, sorry. So the speed wise, I would never go for engraving on wood. You may be looking maximum of 300, minimum of say 100. And then the spacing, that is, as you can see, the spacing there. So sometimes nice to have nice separation, but it depends on the area that you're working on. And which I always get material and do a materials test. That's literally one of the first things I do. Please do be aware that when you're working with organic material, wood, slate, there will be variations. It's just the nature of organic material. So for example, slate will have different thicknesses, so different heights. It will also have pyrite in it, fool's gold, that when you hit with your laser, it go black. It won't engrave perfectly, but it's only speckled throughout the slate. Some slate, you might not have any pyrite in it, but it's a part of the natural charm. And then with wood, you got moisture levels. Again, if you're working with plywood, the thickness of the glue that they use in the plywood. And on that note, you should use laser safe plywood. Some of the glue, it's the glue that makes it not safe. So there might be formaldehyde in the glue. So when you're cutting the wood or engraving it, you're releasing those bad fumes. Always check your materials. Are they laser safe? There's places that sell just laser safe ply. xTool sell laser safe ply. If in doubt, always reach out. So if I have any doubts about material, I won't engrave it. It's one of the reasons why I don't just engrave customer supplied materials. I don't know what it contains. So for example, leather wallet, someone might give me their wallet and say, can you engrave on it? I can engrave on it, but I don't know if that wallet has PVC in it, and therefore I won't engrave on it. So always be safe. And it's that simple to create a test grid. So when you hit process, it will create that test grid, and you can, it might take a while. So this is going to take 46 minutes. It's the nature of the beast. If you know, what I tend to do is if xTool has settings for it, I do a quick test with their settings. And then what I do is I create the test grid here based off the maximum and minimums that I like from xTool's test that they did. And I tweak them. So it's something that you can do. One of the other ways is you can shrink this down, and that will dramatically reduce the time. So 46 minutes to 20 minutes. And you can, if I was to ungroup this, you can see here 100 speed, and you'll see here 100 speed. And it's just the power that's changing. 64, 72, 80% power. And up here, it'd be 300 speed, 80% power. 300 speed, 80% power. And again, it's honestly that simple. With that being said, I'm back online tomorrow at the same time, so 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Please reach out if you do have any questions at all. And again, don't forget to scan the QR code. Win yourself potentially a £100 gift card from xTool. So they're very generous. They reached out to me and asked me if I'd include this in the live stream. Very generous of them to do that. And the winners will be announced next week. I'll see if I can get feedback from them of who the winners were so I can announce it. But if not, please just check your emails. I don't have any control over this. This is something they're doing. So please do scan it and enter in the information, and hopefully you're a winner. With that being said, I will see you next week. See you tomorrow. And you have a lovely